The alarm did not scream. It whispered inside the orbital security station above Earth. Red lights blinked slowly across cold metal walls. No loud sirens, no running officers, just a quiet warning that something was wrong, very wrong. In a dark transport ship connected to the station, 5 elite soldiers stood in silence. Their black armor reflected the red light. Their helmets covered their faces, hiding any sign of fear. Heavy pulse rifles rested in their hands. They were the best unit Earth had. And tonight, they were sent to arrest one person. Not a rebel army, not an alien invader. One human woman. Her name was Commander Alara Vance. Even saying her name made the air feel heavier. The mission report was short. She had disabled 3 planetary AI defense systems. She had lucked out. Central Command. She had cut all communication. And then she went silent. Command called her. Unstable, dangerous, possibly compromised. The soldiers did not believe that they had read her record. Alara Vance was a war hero. She had stopped pirate fleets near Jupiter. She had negotiated peace with outer colonies. She had saved thousands of lives. She was not unstable. So why did Command send 5 armed soldiers? The transport ship detached from the station and entered Mars orbit. The red planet filled the window like a silent warning. Dust storms moved slowly across its surface. The abandoned research facility stood, alone in the middle of that red desert. No power signals should have been active, but lights were on. The ship landed softly near the entrance. The doors opened with a long metallic hiss, cold Martian. Air rushed inside. The soldiers stepped out carefully. No gunfire, no explosions, no alarms, only wind moving across sand inside the facility. The lights flickered but stayed steady. The hallway was clean. The walls were not damaged. No bodies. No signs of fighting. It felt wrong. To calm, their scanners showed strange interference. External communication was blocked. Something was jamming signals, but it was not coming from outside. It was coming from inside. The squad leader, raised his hand. They moved forward in formation. Boots echoed softly against metal floors. Every step felt louder than it should. They reached the main hall, at the end of the long corridor. Under bright white lights, someone was sitting at a metal table. Alone, Commander Alara Vance. Her uniform was simple. No armor, no weapon, no sign of panic. A small portable heater glowed beside her, and in front of her, a coffee machine steamed rose slowly into the air. The smell of fresh coffee filled the hall. The soldiers stopped their rifles aimed at her chest. She did not react. She poured dark coffee into a metal cup, then another, 5 cups. Like she had been expecting them. She finally looked up. Her eyes were calm, not angry, not afraid. She studied them for a moment. Then she gave a small, almost polite smile. Long trip from orbit, she said gently. Her voice was steady, warm, almost kind. Do you take sugar? No one answered. The soldiers had faced pirates. They had faced alien raiders. They had faced death in space. But this felt different. The air felt heavy, like the room itself was watching. The The squad leader tightened his grip on his rifle. "Commander Alara Vance," he said firmly. "You are under arrest." She tilted her head slightly. "Are you sure?" she asked softly. At that exact moment, the lights above flickered once, just once, and every soldier's helmet displayed GLITCHED for half a second, then returned to normal. Silence filled the hallway again, but now it felt alive. Something was very wrong, and deep inside their training, deep inside their instincts, every single soldier understood one thing. They were not here to arrest her. They were already too late, and none of them knew why. The squad leader stepped forward. "Commander Alara Vance," he said firmly, his rifle steady. "Stand up now." His voice echoed in the long metal hall. She did not move. She did not raise her hands. She did not look afraid. Instead, she reached for the coffee pot and calmly filled the last empty cup. Steam rose slowly into the cold air. The soft sound of liquid pouring felt louder than the soldiers' breathing. 5 cups, 5 soldiers. She placed the pot down carefully. "I would not hold those rifles like that," she said gently. "Your hands will get tired." The soldiers did not lower their weapons. The leader signaled 2 of his men to check their Beth systems. Their helmet displays flickered again. One soldier frowned behind his visor. "Sir, external feed is still blocked." "By her?" the leader asked. The soldier shook his head slowly. "No, sir. The source is outside the station." That made the air feel heavier. Another soldier tried to reconnect to orbital command. Nothing, only static. The base lights flickered again, longer this time. The shadows in the hallway stretched across the walls like something was moving inside them. One soldier's scanner beeped sharply. "Motion detected outside," he whispered. "How many?" the leader asked. The soldier paused. "I don't know. The readings are not clear." Alara lifted her cup and took a slow sip of coffee. She closed her eyes for a moment, like she was enjoying the warmth. "You came to stop me?" she said calmly. Her voice was steady. No anger, no fear, but I and the only thing standing between. You and what is outside. The words stayed in the air. The soldiers felt it. A shift. The leader stepped closer to her. "What is outside, Commander?" he demanded. She looked at him directly. "Something that found us." Silence filled the room again. The heather beside her made a soft, humming sound. One soldier suddenly removed his rifle from aim and switched to full environmental scan mode, his display filled with strange symbols. "Sir," he said quietly, "there is something attached to the outer wall." The leader felt his heartbeat grow faster. "Attached," he repeated. "Yes, sir. Large mass. Organic structure. Organic dot. Not metal. Not mechanical. Organic dot. Organic dot." The word sent a chill through all of them. Alara placed her cup down slowly. "I shut down the defense systems so it would not see our full strength," she explained. "If Earth showed power too early, it would attack." The leader stared at her. "You disabled our shields," he said. "I hid them." She corrected softly. Another heavy vibration shook the facility. Dust fell from the ceiling. The metal walls groaned quietly. This time, Everyone felt it. Something was outside. Something big. One soldier finally lowered his weapon slightly. "If you saved us," he asked carefully, "why not tell Command?" Alara's eyes moved toward the ceiling. "Because Command would panic," she said. "And panic is what it wants." The lights flickered again, then went dark. For 3 long seconds, the entire hallway was black. The soldiers' helmet lights turned on instantly, cutting through the darkness. When the power returned, Alara was still sitting there, still calm, still watching them. But now her expression had changed. It was no longer kind, it was serious. "You have 5 minutes," she said quietly. The leader felt a cold wave move down his spine. 5 minutes for what? She looked toward the outer wall, for it to decide whether humanity is worth talking to, or worth harvesting. The room felt colder than space itself, and for the first time since landing on Mars, the 5 elite soldiers understood. They were not here to arrest a traitor. They were standing beside the only person who knew what was coming. Suddenly, the outer walls trembled. A heavy impact shook the Martian facility. The soldiers stumbled, rifles raised. Dust fell from the ceiling. Metal groaned. The base had never felt so alive and so fragile. "Move. Control room." The squad leader barked. They ran down the hallway, boots echoing on steel floors. Each step felt faster than the last. Every shadow looked like a threat. When they reached the control room, Alara was already there, standing beside the main terminal. Her calm was unnerving. The soldiers activated the external cameras. Their jaws dropped. A massive structure clung to the red rocks outside. It was huge. Organic, not mechanical. Thick, writhing tendrils attached it to the ground. Its surface shimmered with strange bioluminescent patterns. It pulsed like a heartbeat. It was not attacking. It was watching, studying, waiting. Elara gestured to the displays. "They are here," she said softly. "They found us." The soldiers looked at her. "Who? What are they?" one whispered. She didn't answer immediately. She studied the alien bioship calmly, her eyes narrow. "They are intelligent," she finally said. "But they do not see humans as warriors. They see us as weak, easily captured, disposable." The words hung in the air. One of the soldiers raised an eyebrow behind his helmet. "Then why are we still alive?" Alara's lips curved slightly. "Because they want to test us." She tapped the console. Images of earlier planetary defenses flashed across the screen's AI turrets. Drones, satellite, shields all, deactivated. "They would have seen everything," she exclaimed. "If they knew our strength, they would have attacked immediately. I shut it down to hide Earth's true power, to buy time." The soldiers slowly understood. They had expected chaos, fire, explosions, maybe death, but nothing like this. Alara was not the threat. She was the shield. She turned toward them, calm and deliberate. "They believe one human is all it takes. They think we are easy prey. That is their mistake." The squad leader clenched his fists. "So, what do we do?" Alara's gaze returned to the bioship, its pulsating lights reflected in her eyes. "We wait. We observe. We survive. And when the time comes," she paused, We show them what humanity really is. The facility trembled again. A tendril brushed the base from the outside. Metal groaned. Alarms beeped briefly. One soldier swallowed hard. It's huge. How do we even fight that? Elara smiled faintly. Not the kind of smile that was friendly. The kind of smile that made the impossible feel small. We don't fight yet, she said. We make them hesitate. Another tremor ran through the control room. Dust swirled in the air. The soldiers exchanged uneasy glances. For a moment, everything was quiet again. The alien bioship waited, patient, unblinking, unknown. Elara poured herself another cup of coffee and took a slow sip. Her calm was absolute. The soldiers realized the truth. The danger was real. The threat was massive. But humanity had a shield that no alien ship could measure. And that shield was Commander Elara Vance. The red dust outside the windows moved as if alive. The alien ship pulsed once, slowly. A quiet warning. And inside, 5 soldiers now understood what it meant to follow someone who was not just brave, but unstoppable. Asterisk, the alien ship pulsed with light. A signal pierced the Martian sky, cutting through the facility's comm systems like a knife. All 5 soldiers froze. The message was simple, clear, demanding. Surrender. Hand over the human known as Elara Vance. Resistance is futile. The words glowed on the control screens. Not just a warning, a challenge. The squad leader's hand shook slightly on his rifle. They want her, he whispered. They think she is. What? The strongest human, Elara did not flinch. She did not even blink. You heard them, she said softly. Her voice was calm, almost casual. They think one human can define humanity. The soldiers exchanged uneasy glances. Every instinct in their bodies screamed, "Fight!" Their helmets scanned the alien bioship. Massive tendrils shifted outside. Pulses of energy ran along its surface. Any attack now could destroy the base. Or worse, Elara shook her head. No, fighting now accomplishes nothing. She turned to the main broadcast terminal. Her fingers moved over the holographic keyboard with precise, deliberate motions. The soldiers watched silently, tense and uncertain. "Commander," one soldier whispered, "are you going to negotiate?" She didn't answer. She didn't need to. A moment later, the terminal blinked. Her message was sent, calm, clear human. It read, "I am Elara Vance. You have found Earth. You have seen humans. I invite your leaders to communicate. Humanity does not start wars, but humanity finishes them." The room went silent. The soldiers looked at her, unable to believe her calm. She had just sent a warning to a being they had never faced, something unimaginably powerful, and she did it without panic. Outside, the alien bioship hesitated. Its pulses slowed. Its tendrils paused mid-motion. Something changed in the way it hovered over Mars. The soldiers' helmets picked up new readings. Not aggression, confusion, not fear, not panic, just hesitation. Elara stood tall. She did not turn to face them. She did not need to. The 5 soldiers instinctively moved closer, behind her, not to arrest her, not to command her, to defend her. She glanced at them over her shoulder, a faint smile forming. "Stay calm," she said quietly. "Watch. Learn. This is what humans do." For a moment, the control room felt larger. The walls echoed with the hum of machinery, the low vibration of the Martian winds outside, and the quiet authority of a single human being. A new pulse flashed across the alien screens. The ship was trying to understand. It scanned Earth, scanned humanity, scanned Alara herself, and it did not attack. Not yet. Because for the first time, it had encountered something it could not measure, something it could not predict. Confidence, human. Confidence. The soldiers realized it all at once. Every rule they had learned, every battle tactic they had trained for, every fear implanted by military command. None of it mattered here. One human, alone, calm, and yet stronger than any army. Alara turned fully toward the terminal again. Her fingers moved as she prepared the next message. Her calm, steady voice spoke. "If you wish to survive this encounter, listen. Humanity is patient, and we never forget." Outside, the alien bioship pulsed one last time before its movement slowed. It hovered. It waited. The soldiers stood behind her, understanding the truth now. They were not rescuers. They were witnesses. Witnesses to the human spirit in its purest form. And in that moment, all five knew. The real message had already been sent. It was not written on screens. It was written in humanity itself. Asterisk. Asterisk, the alien ship hovered silently over the Martian surface, its massive, organic form pulsing faintly. Lights flickered across its tendrils, scanning, analyzing, learning. And then it moved not toward attack, not toward retreat, but away, slowly. Carefully, the five soldiers in the control room watched through the external cameras. Their helmets reflected the faint red light of Mars, eyes wide with disbelief. Alara Vance remained calm. She had not moved. Her hands rested on the table. She sipped the last drop of coffee from her cup as the alien ship began to drift back into the thin Martian sky. "Sir," one soldier whispered, "they're leaving. They're actually leaving." The squad leader did not respond. He just stared at the screen. Slowly, the truth began to sink in. The alien ship had not been defeated. No weapons had fired. No battles had been fought. And yet, the invaders retreated. Elara set her cup down with deliberate calm, her eyes steady and confident. Turned to the soldiers. "They realize something," she said softly. "Humans are not dangerous because of weapons." The soldiers blinked. "They are dangerous because of mindset," she continued. "Because even when surrounded, even when outnumbered, humans stay calm." She gestured to the cups of coffee she had poured earlier. "They offer coffee, they plan, they prepare, and when the time comes, they act with purpose." The soldiers looked at one another. Something clicked. The fear, the tension, the doubts, they all fell away. Alara smiled faintly. Sometimes the right words, the right action, the smallest gesture can change everything. The squad leader picked up the nearest coffee cup, still warm, and inhaled the rich aroma. Did you know they would leave?" he asked quietly. Alara's smile deepened. "No," she said. but I knew they would hesitate. And sometimes, hesitation is all humanity needs. Outside, the alien ship continued to drift, scanning, analyzing, but now slower, more cautious. Whatever it had believed about humans, it had changed. One human had shown calm, confidence, and strategy, and that was enough to make even a massive, unknown alien species reconsider. The 5 soldiers removed their helmets, revealing faces, pale from adrenaline and disbelief. One of them looked at Alara, awe shining in his eyes. You didn't just survive. You taught them to fear us, without firing a single shot. Alara shrugged lightly, still calm, almost casual. We survive, we observe. And when needed, we remind them why humanity is not to be underestimated. The control room felt quieter now. Mars red dust shimmered outside the windows, the alien ship shrinking into the distance. The 5 soldiers had witnessed something extraordinary. Not power in firepower, not numbers, not technology, but the quiet strength of a human mind. Alara poured herself another cup of coffee and leaned back in her chair. Remember this, she said softly. It is not always force. That winces the calm in the storm, the clarity in chaos, and the courage to act when others hesitate. The soldiers nodded. They understood now. Humanity's greatest weapon was not in its weapons. It was in its spirit, and one human had just proven it. The alien ship faded into the Martian horizon. Humanity was safe. For now. And Commander Alara Vance, she smiled. Because sometimes, coffee and confidence was all it took.